Welcome to this month's exciting edition of Bowling Showcase, the only show to connect you with everything bowling in the bowling capital of the world, Metro Detroit. I'm your host, Mark Martin. Well, summer is just around the corner and the bowling season is quickly coming to an end. So here we are with the last Bowling Showcase episode of the season. Sure did go by fast. We had a great time bringing you all the action of the 2017 bowling season, as well as head-to-head bowling action with our Youth Challenge and our 16-team Adult Challenge Tournament. Before we say goodbye for the summer, we've got one more action-packed show featuring the Ripken Invitational and the Michigan State Masters Tournament. Now you're probably wondering, we're not at a bowling center for this last episode. Instead, we're at Northville Downs. And you're further wondering, what's the connection? Well, what if I tell you the proprietor of the restaurant here is also one of Metro Detroit's most active and biggest supporters of bowling. And if you've been watching our challenge series, or you're an avid MD USBC member, you'll recognize the name, Lou and Sarah. Lou is a huge supporter of bowling in Metro Detroit, and we're honored to have him as the host of our last show for this season, right here at his Trotside restaurant at Northville Downs. And later on in the show, we'll talk to Lou himself and learn all about his many endeavors and his love of bowling. So let's jump right into this month's tournament action with a look at the State Masters Tournament from Battle Creek on Bowling Showcase. The state's best bowlers gathered at M66 Bowl to compete in the 2017 Michigan State Masters, held on April 22nd and 23rd. Now the bowlers competed in 6 games of qualifying, with the top 23 qualifiers, plus defending champion Corey Hines, moving on to match play. As expected, the bowling throughout the tournament was of the highest caliber. John Nolan of Waterford was the top qualifier with a 6-game total of 14-18 and a high game of 265. Nolan, after being seeded into the second round, remained in the winner's bracket with wins over Brian Odom of Westland, 426 to 365, Steve Jacobs of Belleville, 440 to 388, 2014 and 2015 Michigan State Masters champion Ronnie Sparks Jr. of Redford, 400 to 394, and Brian Wallachek of Frankenmuth, 402 to 381 to advance to the finals. Now once in the loser's bracket, Wallachek beat Ronnie Sparks 390 to 383 to advance from the loser's bracket to the finals with a chance to avenge that earlier loss to Nolan. In the final match, Wallachek, still on his game, pushed Nolan to the brink and overpowered the top seed with a 455 to 386 victory that forced a final match for the title. The two men battled it out in one of the most entertaining and competitive matches of the day. Pushing themselves through pain and endurance of this grueling final match, both bowlers in top form. But John Nolan's determination to be champion won out in the end, and he eventually defeated Wallachek for the second time this day, 442 to 402, to claim the championship title. Nolan's victory, that gives him the Masters title at the local, state, and national level, an amazing accomplishment.
It's overwhelming. It really is overwhelming. I really don't bowl this tournament that often, but it's, with winning the City Masters last year, it really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that it's like I have a chance to get all 3, which no one's done. The State Masters really hasn't been around for all that long a time, so some of the greats from Detroit never really had a chance to do something like this, but truly an honor to be the only one to hold all 3 titles. The list of bowlers that have won this tournament so far is just, they're all Hall of Famers. It's unbelievable. At one point today, we were down to 4 bowlers in the winner's bracket, and it was just a gauntlet. I mean, you had Ronnie, Tommy Smallwood, Brian, and me, which, there was a time where I might have considered myself in that level, but I don't bowl as much as those boys anymore, so it was fun just to kind of get in the mix with them,
Congratulations to all this year's participants, and especially John Nolan on his dominating win. What a great way to end this year's tournament season. Watching these bowlers, seeing their skill level and their competitiveness, is it any wonder why Metro Detroit is the bowling capital of the world? You know, bowling, it's really for everybody. Doesn't matter your age, your gender, or your ability. Whether you're a pro, a league bowler, just having fun on a Friday night, bowling is a lifelong activity. You can have fun, be competitive, and make lifelong friends. When's the last time you went bowling? What are you waiting for? Get to your local bowling center and have some fun. And remember, just because summer is almost here, doesn't mean you're going to put your bowling equipment away. On those extremely hot days, like July and August, your local bowling center offers air-conditioned, cool way to have fun and get your exercise. Give it a try. Now, before we get back to this month's bowling action, we need to take a few commercial breaks. Before and after each commercial break this show, we're going to tell you a little bit more about the sponsors, organizations, bowling centers, and people who bring you Bowling Showcase every week. Without their generous support, we wouldn't be able to bring all this bowling action to you. Stick around, we'll be right back with more Bowling Showcase. Now, as we finish our second season of Bowling Showcase, I'd like to remind you that this show is only possible with the financial support from our sponsors and patrons. And I'd like to take this opportunity right now to thank them. First, I'd like to thank the Metro Detroit USBC with President John Vorpagel, Vice President George Brzezinski, and the Board of Directors for their unwavering support of this show and the promotion of our sport. Now, the Blue Ribbon Bowling Group with Beach Lanes, Luxury Lanes, Mayflower Lanes, Novi Bowl, and Woodland Lanes, they're completing their second year as a sponsor. Thanks so much for your support. And continuing their support is the Bowling Centers Association of Michigan with President Randy Krim, Executive Director Bo Gergen, and the BCAM Board. Thank you for your sponsorship. DeCarlo's Banquet and Convention Center. They joined us this year as a sponsor. I'd like to thank Gary DeCarlo and Shelley Massey for that support. Dave Beechnall, Chris Smith, and the Detroit Sports Commission continued their support this year, and thank you for sponsoring our show and bowling in Detroit. We were pleased to welcome the Michigan State USBC Women's Bowling Association as a sponsor this year. Many thanks to President Mary DeBoer, Association Manager Sharon Schilderoff, and their entire board for their vision in supporting women's bowling. Sandy Hansel of Sandy Hansel and Associates, he's always looking for ways to promote our sport and the business that comes with it. He's been a supporter of Bowling Showcase from the beginning. Thanks, Sandy. I'd like to thank President Tom Winkle, Executive Director John Kasbar, and the entire board of the Southeast Michigan Bowling Centers Association for your unending support. Now, whenever possible, I ask that you patronize our sponsors and supporters. At the very least, let them know you appreciate them supporting Bowling Showcase and bringing bowling to your home each week.
DeCarlo's Banquet Center in Warren is one of the finest full-service catering centers in Southeast Michigan with 7 banquet rooms. It's the perfect place to host your next event. We're known for offering great food and exceptional customer service along with affordable prices. From birthday and graduation parties to weddings, showers, corporate and church events, we provide elegance you can afford and the flexibility to meet all your needs. Our menus start at just $9.75 per person. Call DeCarlo's Banquet Center today to schedule your next special occasion.
Owning and operating a bowling center is a unique business, and no one knows it like Sandy Hansel and Associates. We've been buying, selling, and valuing bowling centers for over 30 years. We've sold over 500 centers and valued more than 1,200 centers throughout the United States and Canada. We often assist the purchaser in securing financing, obtaining your liquor license transfer, and avoiding potential pitfalls unique to this business. Trust your next bowling center transaction to Sandy Hansel & Associates, bowling's only full-service broker, appraiser, and financial advisors. Visit us at sandyhansel.com. Metro Detroit USBC, your source for everything bowling in the bowling capital of the world. We support USBC certified league and tournament competition. We provide 11 tournaments for all members of our association, including men, women, youth, seniors, scratch, and handicap competition. The top reasons for belonging to the Metro Detroit USBC are having your average recognized, bonding of league funds, rules of the game, assistance in resolving league issues, equipment standards of the game, charities, and awards. Visit us at mdusbc.com. Three bowling centers this season were instrumental in our successful challenge series. We started a youth challenge this season, and Greg Gumto and Jim Kula of Cherry Hill Lanes North, they were there to host for this first-time event. It was a great time for everyone and went off flawlessly. Thanks, guys, for your support. Tom Strobel, Mike Calloway, and Bill Alexander of Thunderbolt Lanes hosted round one of the Adult Challenge series of episodes. Taping in the historic arena was a pleasure for me, my co-hosts Stephanie Penksa and Robin Orlikowski, and the production crew. Thanks to all of you at Thunderbolt for your support. The Bowling Showcase Challenge Adult Round 2 and Beyond matches were hosted by Plum Hollow Lanes. And again, the teams, production crew, and myself extend our thanks to Mark and Diane Voigt, General Manager Carmen Allen, and everyone at Plum Hollow for hosting us and taking care of our every need. Thank these fine bowling centers every chance you get for hosting and being a huge part of Bowling Showcase. Okay, here I am with Lou and Sarah. Lou, thanks for hosting us this month. We really appreciate it. You know, you're such a big supporter of bowling. How did you get started in bowling?
My uncle owned Wonderland Lanes in Livonia. That was my mother's brother. She used to take me over there along with my great uncle, and we went along and bowled over there. My uncle used to let me bowl for free all the time. I got to liking it, and as I got into the youth program, I graduated from that and on to the adult league at 17 years old.
So, how old were you when you threw your first ball?
7.
7 years old. And just took a love for it from the beginning, right?
Yeah, and then I joined my first league when I was 9, and I won a few awards as a youth. And when I got out of the youth program, I got to bowling later on with the adults.
You know, you're involved in restaurants, Red Robin, and Big Boys in the Past, things like that. But now you're involved in Trotside. Oh, and you also got Tabbouleh, right?
Tabbouleh, yes.
Yeah. So here's Trotside Restaurant here at Northfield Downs. How did you get here?
Well, it's no secret I've been a big fan of horse racing all my life. Sports Service that used to run the operations here vacated, and the owner came to me and asked me if I would be willing to take over the concessions. I didn't have a lot of time, so I put all my resources together and slapped something together, and we've evolved to where we are today. It's been about 5 years or so that we've been here.
Okay. Well, it's a great venue here. It's a great atmosphere. It's really exciting. Like a couple weeks ago on Derby Day, that was really great, wasn't it?
Well, Derby Day is the highlight of the year. We have about 5,000 plus people that come out for the event. We sell close to 100 barrels of beer. So I don't think there's too many restaurants I own anyway that would sell near that.
And then you got a new pizza oven, and you really pumped out the pizzas that day, didn't you?
We're pumping out pizzas. It was a work in progress, let's say that. I invested some money, quite a bit of money into it, but hopefully it'll pay dividends down the road.
I'm sure it will, Lou. Well, Lou, thank you very much for all you do for bowling, not only what you do with the All-Stars. I mean, how many teams do you sponsor in the All-Stars?
6.
6 teams in the All-Stars out of 12 or 14?
13.
13 out of 13. So you got half the league. And you always get the best players too, don't you?
I have a fair team. Won a few championships.
That's right.
Over my 35 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Lou.
My pleasure.
We appreciate your support of bowling and support of Bowling Showcase.
Always want to help bowling. Always, before anything else.
That's right.
Thanks.
Thank you. And now it's time for more bowling action. Last month, we showed you the thrilling conclusion of this year's women's series with Brandy Remy edging out Lisa Bishop to take home the cup. And this month, it's time for the final women's event of the season with the top women bowlers competing for one last time. The Ripken Women's Invitational from Shelby Lanes right here on Bowling Showcase. At the end of a long and highly competitive 2017 Women's Series, the top 18 on the points list were invited to participate in this special event held at Shelby Lanes in Shelby Township. Women's Series Cup winner Brandy Remy was joined by fellow competitors Lisa Bishop, Sandy Schultz, Haley Lundy, Amanda Berry, and 11 other highly skilled women bowlers, all competing for this final prize of the season. After 4 games of qualifying, Sandy Schultz of Macomb emerged as the day's top qualifier with a 4-game total of 947. As the day's top qualifier, Sandy Schultz was automatically seeded into the final match and patiently waited out the other matches to find out who her opponent would be. Lisa Bishop, who bowled strong all season and ended up second in cup points, was once again showing her A game. Qualifying third with 889 on games of 247, 203, 246, and 193, Bishop went into match play with steely-eyed determination. In her first stepladder match against Natalie Mescal, Bishop took over the lanes and showed her mastery. Expertly playing the lane and making the small adjustments she needed, she quickly overpowered Mescal and won the match 248 to 210. Next on the list was this year's Cup winner, Brandy Remy. Throughout this season's Women's Series, these two fantastic lady bowlers have been battling back and forth. Bishop started off strong by rattling off consecutive strikes, while Remy seemed to be having trouble with the pair, leaving the first 2 frames open. As the match went on, Bishop continued to make adjustments and read the lanes expertly, while Remy, still having difficulties, eventually decided to rely less on nuance and more on sheer overpowering of the lanes. Now in the end, Remy did all she could to redeem her game, but Bishop proved too masterful on this day and won the match 208 to 183 to move into the final match against Sandy Schultz. In this match, Bishop again proved her experience at reading the lane and making her adjustments. Schultz, who hadn't used this pair of lanes all day, seemed to have a hard time finding the right line and never really found her game. Bishop, who won the first Women's Series event of this year, bookended the season with a victory today over Schultz, 232 to 169, and another win for her resume. Lisa, you had a great season this year. Nice way to finish it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very happy with the year this year. I first and foremost want to thank you, Mark, and Michigan, or the Metro Detroit USBC, I'm sorry, for having this tournament. It's a great tournament.
Well, you ended up second in the cup list. You just barely missed there. Is this a little bit of revenge?
No, it wasn't revenge. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the background. A couple family members are sick, so there was a little something different going on today. It wasn't about really winning. It was just trying to keep myself in my zone, and this is my kind of get away from reality of life. Bowling is for me.
Okay, well, you bowled great. Congratulations on another fine year, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you so much. I'll see you next year. Thanks again.
Okay. After an intense day of bowling, the ladies joined in fellowship for a luncheon and the awarding of the season-long points checks. With all the bowlers looking forward to next season, it was a great way to bring this 2017 Women's Series to a close. Congratulations to all the women bowlers who participated this season in the Women's Series. And once again, congratulations to Cup winner Brandy Remy. What an exciting and competitive season of matches. I can't wait till it started next year. Okay, it's time again to hear about our sponsors and patrons, but we'll be back after this short break with more Bowling Showcase. We know you've enjoyed our series of challenge episodes this year, and we couldn't have done both the Adult and Youth Challenge series without the support of the teams. On the youth side, we want to thank the participants, coaches, bowling centers of the Blue Ribbon Bowling Group, Mayflower Lanes, Oak Lanes, and our 2017 Youth Challenge champion, Cherry Hill Lanes North, for making our first Youth Challenge so successful and entertaining. Looks like home field advantage worked out pretty well for Cherry Hill Lanes North. Now on the adult side, we want to thank all of the 16 teams that participated and made such great television. Thanks to Lou Ansara for his sponsorship of the Ansara team and co-sponsoring with Randy Shank. Thanks also to Billy Parent, who sponsored the Lady Liberty team. Many thanks to Airway Lanes, Cherry Hill Lanes North, Mayflower Lanes, Plaza Lanes, AMF Rose Bowl Lanes, Score Lanes, Thunder Bowl Lanes, and Vision Lanes for sponsoring their teams in the challenge. A good effort was made by all. Thanks to MD USBC Lifetime, Mary Bowl, and Super Bowl for sponsoring their teams and their very strong showing. And a big thank you to 5-Star Lanes and champion Woodland Lanes. Every team made for exciting matches every week, and it came down to the 10th frame in the final match before we had this year's champion. Now that's great television. Like other sponsors, make sure you tell these fine centers and supporters thanks for their support of Bowling Showcase and promoting our sport. The Bowling Centers Association of Michigan is a nonprofit trade organization that protects, promotes, and advances the interest of its members and member centers. It is the only association in Michigan affiliated with the Bowling Proprietors Association of America. Benefits include group purchasing programs, tournaments, annual convention and trade show, education seminars, and legislative representation. Interested in becoming a member? Contact Bo Gergen at 989-600-0992 or visit mibowl.com. The Michigan State USBC Women's Bowling Association provides recognition and tournament competition to all levels of women bowlers. Competition include Women's State Tournament, this year in Bay City, State Queens in Holly, and the Midwestern Women's Tournament in Dayton, Ohio. Recognition includes first-time 300 game and first-time 600, 700, and 800 series. Visit MichiganWBA.com for entries for these tournaments and more information on women's bowling. Our monthly magazine series of episodes gave us an opportunity to show the audience why bowling is such a great sport and remind everyone why Metro Detroit is the bowling capital of the world. Many thanks to AMF Rose Bowl Lanes, Beach Lanes, 5-Star Lanes, Mary Bowl, Novi Bowl, Regal Lanes, Trotside Restaurant, and Vision Lanes for hosting our monthly magazine shows. Every supporter is important to the success of Bowling Showcase, and I'd like to give a special thanks to Airway Lanes, Bolero Lanes, Classic Lanes, Delora Brothers, Luxury Lanes, Oak Lanes, and Shelby Lanes for their support. Now in closing, this show and other efforts to support our sport can only happen with efforts from everyone. Well, that's about it. The MD-USBC bowling season has come to an end, and so is our second season of Bowling Showcase. We hope you enjoyed all the bowling action, stories, head-to-head competition, and well, just everything we put into our shows. We had a great time bringing you Bowling Showcase magazine and head-to-head matches with the Bowling Showcase Challenge Edition. So why don't you stay in touch with us over the summer by connecting with us at Bowling Showcase on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or email us at bowlingshowcase@gmail. Let us know what you think. Remember, you can watch rebroadcasts of this show and more at mdusbc.com and Xfinity On Demand. This show and other efforts to support our sport can only happen with efforts from everyone. Next year, if you want to get involved by sponsoring, hosting an event, magazine show, putting a team into the youth or adult challenge, give me a call. 248-443-2695, extension 100, or email me at mark.martin@mdusbc.com. Thanks to Kelly Marcotte, producer of Bowling Showcase, for using his talent to make all of us look good and making this show the best locally produced bowling TV show anywhere. It's been a pleasure hosting this show along with Stephanie Panksa and Robin Orlikowski on our challenge shows as we promote our sport that we love. We want to thank you again for watching and make sure to tune in next season for all new episodes. We'll leave you now with some highlights and some goofs from this season. I'm Mark Martin. Have a safe summer, and we'll see you next time from the bowling capital of the world on Bowling Showcase. We have 8 winning teams. They'll bowl each other and continue till the end of our 15th episode, where we're going to champion a crown. The trophy, the championship trophy for the Cherry Hill Lanes North team.
Good job.
Every women's series this season, every strike, spare, and frame unedited at mdusbc.com. Congratulations, you guys bowled great. You know, your horse came through in the 10th frame when you needed to.
But I would like to thank Tom for your little ways to make this all happen.
Check
So Jerry,
1,
what
3.
do you got going on here at Novi Bowl?
Nothing.
Thanks for having us this month.
I've got nothing going
Start
on.
that over again.
Oh, you were taping?